Hey everyone, welcome to part 2 of our Q&A. I wanted to just jump in here real quick and do a little intro because otherwise it was awkward when it just starts. It's going to start with us cooking the steak. I was actually going to remove that, but we actually got a few of your comments saying you're really excited to see how the steak was going to turn out, so we kept it in there. The other thing I wanted to mention real quick before we kick things off is sometimes when we have when the champagne's been popped and we're drinking cocktails, sometimes we get a little loosey-goosey and things kind of fall through the cracks. The next day when I was looking at the footage, I was so angry with myself because the one question we got, it was one of you said you were going on a girls trip and you were wanting to know our recommendations for appetizers, tapas, and cocktails. I was so frustrated that I didn't say California Grill. So here it is, go to California Grill because they have, hands down, my favorite appetizer on all of Disney property. I originally said arancini. I'm taking that back. It is the braised beef short rib wontons from California Grill. These things are amazing. I think you get 4 in an order. I was telling Steve, because I always find California Grill, like when I get the steak, I always find it to be okay. If and when we go back, I'm literally just gonna order a double order of the wontons because they are that good. I could just eat that and be a happy camper. But yeah, so I just wanted to interject because California Grill, they do have a lounge. It is kind of tricky to get reservations, but I think if you show up like right when they open, you might be able to get a spot in the lounge. And then they have really, really good appetizers. In addition to the braised beef short rib wontons, they are also famous for the Sonoma goat cheese ravioli. That's really good. The cocktails are always great. So yes, I have to interject and say California Grill. But that's it. Now let's get going with part 2 of our Q&A. Yeah, we got the French fries done. So last time I made these, I kind of undercooked them and I was so disappointed. They're perfect tonight. And then we've got our pan going. So we're just gonna sear our steak, just like literally like 30 seconds per side, just to give us that nice golden sear. And then dinner will be served.
All right, now this is the most stressful experience.
All the water.
Typically, Caleb is like trying to intertwine between my legs at this point. Like all this water, it's hot water. And one time I was gonna say, are you gonna tell the story? One time he got in between me and this, and he pushed back. Like, oh my gosh. Yeah. I haven't grabbed him fast enough. I moved him out of the way. Thankfully, nothing fell on him at all whatsoever. But
yeah, because all the water went this way. Like the entire thing of water just went over the counter.
I have an insane problem with having to clean up the second I'm done with anything. Right. Mike will wait till the next morning. So right now, I'm just going to do this out, clean it up right now. Just while, I'm fresh.
All right, so Megan asks, what are your worst Disney dining drink experiences? I know for me, my drink was that it was basically some kind of Manhattan of sorts
with port
at Whispering Canyon Cafe.
I have to say that's probably where my worst drink
It was pretty bad. It was funny. I remember we did the vlog. I took the first sip and I was like, okay, it had kind of a weird finish.
It had like a cinnamony, mouthwash. It was very
I didn't get a cinnamony note. It tasted like when you have ice cream and soda, what is that called?
Like a cream soda? Like root beer float?
Yes, it had a cream soda flavor to it that was like okay for the first sip, but then about halfway through the drink, I had to tap out. I was like, this is not good.
So when Mike is this descriptive, you know it was that bad. So it's ingrained in his memory. Right. It's going to be forever bad. Yeah. So they're just not great cocktails. It was their signature cocktail, which kind of sucks because that's what they're known for. Okay. So anyhow, don't get a cocktail at Whispering Canyon Cafe. I think that's just it. So I agree. Both of us had bad experiences with that. So,
but I do want to turn this around because we like to stay positive. One of you gave us a comment on the Whispering Canyon Cafe video that you had the same server we did. It was Lucky Lori. Yeah. And if you saw the video, she is very animated.
Over the top. She's great.
She was hilarious. She was such a hoot. But one of you who commented were like, you weren't really feeling it that night. You just wanted to have a quiet dinner. And you were like, she was amazing because she let me have my quiet dinner. You actually
I think you said she sat down and had a conversation with you.
Yeah, you said she sat down and had a conversation with you. You talked about your kids and stuff. I was like, that literally warmed my heart when I heard that.
It's an all-star cast member.
Yeah, she was amazing. Okay, Andrew asks, what's your favorite non-Disney place to visit? So I love going to Hollywood. I've mentioned it before, I'm an old soul. I love old Hollywood glamour. I watch Turner Classic Movies all the time. There is this hotel in West Hollywood called Sunset Tower Hotel, and it is fabulous. We used to do, when we could, we used to go out there every so often, even with Caleb, and we would just have a quick little weekend jaunt to Hollywood, and we would have a brunch. They have a really great lobby bar. Oh,
It's a great ambiance. And every single time we've been there, we've seen celebrities as well. So.
Yes, that's the other fun thing, too. Yes.
It's rich in history. It's an awesome place.
It was so much fun. And I remember the funniest story I have was that was one of Caleb's first vacations we ever took him on when he was little. That was his first car ride. And you were already out there for business.
I was there for work, yeah.
Yeah, you were out there for work. And then Caleb and I drove from Gilbert, Arizona to Hollywood.
Which was a brave move.
He was so little then, but we made it. We survived. We made it. Yeah. But it's such a, I love Sunset Tower Hotel.
There you go.
All right, it's time to cut into this steak.
That's right. And giant knife, but it works. Look at that.
That looks excellent.
This is why we sous vide, folks.
Yes.
I find that we actually have a lot of professionals that do watch our videos and they give us a lot of tips. So I apologize if I offend you that I don't cut it the right way or put slabs of butter in my sous vide, but this is the way we like it, and it tastes phenomenal.
It tastes so good.
We have this giant vein of fat off the side, but I think it gives that little bit extra flavor on top of it. So.
All right, here's our steak frites. Ready to eat?
Yes.
Very excited.
Been looking forward to this all day, but now I'm kind of tired. This will give me my second win. I know it will.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we've got so I don't know if you guys watch this, but we watch those ambiance videos on YouTube where it's cozy cafe or something like that. It's jazz music. We're so desperate just to get back in the society. I know. But I think this is cozy coffee shop, but we were watching these crazy over the holidays, a Christmas backdrop. They have a New York hotel jazz lounge kind of thing.
And traditionally around the Thanksgiving week, we typically go to Lake Tahoe on vacation. Right. So there's this one that has this big, beautiful lodge with snow on there. Right. We watched it for 3 weeks straight.
We did. Okay, so here's a question we've really been looking forward to. This person asks, create your own multi-course dinner using a different restaurant for each course. Which restaurant? We wrote this down. Yes, for sure.
Absolutely. So you're speaking our love language with this kind of a question. Yes. So good for you. Now, Mike actually is probably going to be thrown off because I wrote down things, and I'm going to give him a double blind. I'm actually going to give different answers, so that's going to throw him off.
Oh, great.
Yeah, exactly. But he also said something, why are you including Disneyland things, Mike? Because it's Disney. So I have some very good staple things at the Disneyland Resort and California Adventure that I cannot ignore. They're so good. So they're included in this one. All right. Beyond my pontification, here is my multi-course meal. We're going to start off with a savory appetizer, and that's the firecracker duck wings offered at Carthay Circle. Again, phenomenal. If you can get there and just try them, they're so delicious. It's so good, so good. All right, next up, now that we're done with our savory appetizer, we've got to move into a salad, of course. So I'm going to do the chopped salad from Brown Derby. Right, Mike?
Yep, it's very
phenomenal, right? All right, and this is where I'm going to do the double blind on Mike. I wrote down something, and I'm going to do something completely different. And I'm probably going to throw a lot of people off, but this course is absolutely phenomenal. And it's a upgrade course you can get at Victoria and Albert's, and it's the Dover Sole. The Dover Sole, what?
It's turbo.
Oh!
It's not Dover Sole.
Oh, you're right.
I knew you were going to say that, though.
The turbo, the wild turbo is and it's Meyer lemon caper sauce or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, I have the picture going right now.
Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. It literally melts in your mouth. So, well, even though I tried to, I tried to mess up Mike, he messed me up. All right, and then my top dessert is a recent addition, and this is at Topolino's. They had this chocolate lava cake with a caramel center that was just absolutely amazing. We're probably not going to link the video below, but check out our dining review. There's literally almost tears came to my eyes when I had it. It's so delicious. All right, you consulting your notes?
Okay, yes, I'm looking at my notes, and so, you know what? Okay, fine. If we're going to include Disneyland in here, then I'm going to say, I'm going to start with a Carthay Martini from Carthay Circle Restaurant.
There we go.
And then for my first course, I would love the arancini from Citrico's.
Ooh.
It was so delicious. I think I like almost gasped when I took a bite from that thing. For my main course, I would love the filet from Topolino's Terrace. That was delicious. It was probably the best steak I've ever had on Disney property. It was the kind of steak that actually literally did melt in my mouth.
Wow.
I feel like a lot of people say that, but it's like, maybe not so much. But this one absolutely did. And then for dessert, I love the grapefruit cake from Hollywood Brown Derby. It's probably my favorite dessert on property.
Wow.
Yeah.
So very diverse, but some signature items from Topolino's and Brown Derby. So
yeah,
there we go.
Can't
and of
go
course,
wrong with
Carthay.
those.
And Carthay to represent the West Coast.
Yes, if you go to the West Coast, you have to go to Carthay.
Yes, it's needed.
By the way, speaking of that, this is like totally off topic, but so if you're not keeping up with the news in Disneyland, they have reopened parts of California Adventure. And they are offering alfresco dining at Carthay, so we are itching to go.
Yes.
It's impossible to get in.
The reservations are impossible.
I can't get us in at all. I've tried every which way, but here's hoping.
Maybe if one of you have a reservation.
All right, here's a good one. Least favorite Disney movie?
Chicken Little. Not a big fan of that one.
Okay.
It's a little off.
I've never seen that one, so I can't say.
You never even seen it?
No, I haven't.
Well, you're not missing much.
All right, I'm gonna stir some controversy here. Unpopular opinion. Yeah, you're gonna want to put your.
I'm gonna put my fork down here.
Okay. The Lion King.
What?
I've never been a fan of that movie.
What?
Now, here's the thing. I love the music in it. I can listen to the music to that movie all day long. But here's the thing. I think I know why. I was at that age where it was like no longer cool to watch Disney movies when that movie came out. Now, we did go as a family, we did go see that movie. I think we saw it like 3 times in the theater, and each time I was just like, meh. So, but I don't know, it just kind of stuck with me. Like, I'm not a big fan of watching it, but yeah.
Says the person that has done every single milestone the rest of her life tied to Disney.
I know. I think, you know what it is? I think I'm just not, I know, again, another unpopular opinion. I'm not a fan of like animal movies, like when animals can talk. I much prefer like Tangled and Frozen.
You know you are a Disney fan, right? Zootopia. You love Zootopia?
I do like Zootopia, yes.
Wow.
So, I don't know, there's just something about Lion King. It just never resonated with me.
Dumbo, Bambi.
I didn't like Bambi.
Robin Hood? Oh my. Do we have a Disney fan?
Best funny date story.
Okay, so Mike mentioned Caleb's first vacation with us on the road was to Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
And I have 2 stories here. And if you're eating, stop. Just stop eating. It's going to be best interest of you just not to be consuming something during this. But we went to this trendy, hip, Beverly Hills, awesome brunch place. Oh my gosh. My sister and my niece were with us. It was awesome. We were actually out there for the Hamilton musical in Hollywood. So very awesome experience. But we're in this, like, again, hip, trendy place.
Super hip.
Right?
Beverly Hills.
And we're talking like, we had like a white sectional that we have as our bench that we're eating on. Anyhow, out of nowhere, Caleb had a blowout. And I'm just going to leave it at blowout. Parents know what blowout are. Babysitters know what blowout are. On the white sectional. It
was ridiculous. It was mortifying.
And it was like, it was explosive. Like somehow, some way, like it went out of the undercarriage, through the onesie, up through the pants.
Right.
So it was aggressive. And we cleaned up as best we could, but we ended up having to put like a throw pillow on top of it.
Yeah, we had to hide our evidence.
And then we leave, and then like Mike made a joke that like a waiter's gonna run out and say, excuse me, you left your son's remains."
It was awful.
Oh, it's horrible. But that's one thing. Another thing we had was another date with our friends as well.
I was gonna tell this story. This was gonna be my story.
All right, I'll let you
okay, so switch over. By the way, this is how like in sync Steve and I are. We both immediately think of Caleb poop stories. So I've already given away what mine's going to be. But we have this hip, trendy place in Gilbert that serves ramen. And we went there with our friends. They also have a little boy who's the same age as Caleb. And we were sitting outside and it was nighttime. So the lighting is like not quite right. Yeah. And you know how when you're at a restaurant like that, you've got all these like dips and sauces and stuff like that. Well, Caleb, we were giving him like small bites. This is when he was like really, really little. So he was like just kind of eating off the tabletop and we were putting little small bites in front of him. Yeah. And at one point we look over and I was like, oh my gosh, who gave Caleb like that sauce? Like it was kind of spicy. And I was like, well, he seems to really be, and he was like playing like all over the table. And I look and I realized, you guys, he pooped his diaper and he brought what was in that diaper onto the tabletop.
And we just thought it was sauce. We thought it was sauce. Like, what the hell? I look at my, did you give him a sauce? No.
And I'm like,
did you give him sauce? No. Then what is this?
And I looked at her and I was like, oh my God.
But thank God we were there with our friends. Like, we had to take him and praise our friends. They cleaned up the table.
Yes.
And like, great people.
Yeah.
Those are the folks that are in our bubble, so you may or may not have seen them in the previous videos. So
right.
We're sorry to inundate you with poop stories, but yeah, those are the funny date moments.
Well, and you know what's so funny? Because we mentioned it was a hip, trendy restaurant. It was very hip and trendy because they did not have like a proper diaper changing station.
Exactly.
Like there was nothing in the bathroom. We're like having to bathe Caleb and wash our hands in this tiny little like trendy sink. Like, okay, this one's good because it gives you kind of like a little like, oh my gosh, you guys, I'm starting to slur. Gives you a little bit behind the scenes. It says, how do you all decide what to do when you vlog, and then who decides what makes the cut? So what usually happens, we usually vlog on the weekends. We usually vlog on Saturday because that's when we usually have the most like fun stuff going on, whether it's making breakfast or
going I'm not working.
Yeah, exactly. Steve's free. So we usually vlog like on a day like that, and then I do all the editing. So I will then go and take all the footage and edit. But what I like to do is I like to have Steve sit and watch it after I'm done, and then you kind of decide
give your notes and
if
stuff
it works. Yeah, so it's kind of like a joint process. I do most of the filming, most of the editing, but Steve has a better eye as to like if something's working or not.
Yeah. There's like a certain flow that I can figure out. So,
right.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're the one editing, you kind of get married to the footage. You're like, but this part's so funny, and it's like, but it kind of.
But when it comes into home vlogs, it's unscripted. We don't have any kind of plans at all whatsoever. We might have like, okay, so for this one, we knew it was going to be Q&A. Mm-hmm. So this is just regular, a day in our life that we're actually answering questions. Yeah. And that's the rest of our home vlogs. We don't really actually have much of an agenda or anything. We just turn on the camera and see what happens. Yeah,
there are some times where we'll film for over a couple days, and then we just weed out all the boring stuff. Yeah. So, yeah.
Miss Anchetta says, if you can drink one alcohol I haven't. If you can drink one alcohol beverage for the rest of your life, what would it be? Beverage, I take that as a cocktail, so I'm going to go with an old fashioned. I know I'm going to love an old fashioned no matter what, so that's my go-to. I think I know the answer for Mike, and that's a martini.
Yes. I would say a Hendrix martini.
Yes. Love Toria Rose says, how do you guys decide where to eat when you go to Disney? I don't. He does.
I do it all.
He does absolutely everything. I just show up and say, wait, what are we eating today? Like this, and this. Like, that seems like a lot of food. Like, yes, it is. We're going to have a lot of fun.
So, yeah, I guess this could also be, like, behind the scenes. And I hate to say it because it sounds kind of, like, lame. But I kind of think of our YouTube channel page, and I think of the thumbnails. I'm like, what would look good right there, you know? What?
Aesthetics?
I have to admit it. But it's like, but granted, part of it is like, okay, we haven't done Narcoossee's. Let's do Narcoossee's. Yeah. And then it's like, okay. And I also like to do, when I'm planning the trip, I love this
Very
kind of
handy.
stuff. Yeah. I kind of think I'm like, let's do a breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then let's do like a classic iconic location. Let's do maybe an underrated location. And then let's do like a signature dining. Like try to hit like all the various like little touchstones.
All right. JK Coleman says, wine tips for newbies. Go to a wine pairing dinner. That's the easiest thing to do. That's where we got into it. So You go to a restaurant, they suggest the wine that should go with that course, order that. That's the best way to experience the perfect pairing.
Right.
And to me, that's the best way to experience wine. I very rarely just drink wine just to drink wine. It's typically paired with something.
Yeah.
So that's what I recommend.
Yeah, and not necessarily something super expensive like Victoria and Albert's. Like here in Arizona, we have like a restaurant week where you can dine for like $30, and some places will offer maybe for like $15
$15
more. Yeah, a wine pairing.
Yeah, so definitely recommend that as a way to get into wine. Then you're going to understand what you like. So, and another thing about this is they give you a lot of variety, especially if it's multi-course. You might get some whites, some reds, some blushes, some dessert stuff. I feel good about my answer I'm giving to you right now. R.L. Carpenter, 1980 says, "Who's your diva? Gaga, Madonna, Cher, Stevie, etc.? Random fun question." That it is. I'm a Lady Gaga fan. I'm a big time Lady Gaga fan. In fact, I will tell Mike to this day, I'm the one that told him about Lady Gaga. Yes. You always forget, but I was the one that said, you have to watch this crazy video. It's off the wall. You got to watch it.
This is not true.
It is true. And it is true. It's absolutely true. I'm always right. When it comes to this. I definitely introduced you to Lady Gaga first. I don't think Lady Gaga is your top, so let me flip the camera to you.
Okay, so I absolutely love Gaga, Cher, and Stevie for sure, but I'm a kid of the 80s. I am a Madonna. I've seen almost every concert. There are a couple that I've gone to both nights when she was here. Like, I love Madonna, and I could go on all day about how much I love Madonna. But... Yes,
the problem with Madonna, though, if I can add to that, her concerts, she always starts, like, so late.
My gosh, yes, you're there all night long.
It's like she always the start time is like 7:30. She goes on at like 11 o'clock.
Right, yeah.
It's ridiculous.
So, but I will only do that for Madonna. We actually get this one a lot. What bourbon whiskey club does Steve belong to?
Yes, so it's called bourboncharity.org. So you can go to the website. It gives to a lot of awesome nonprofit organizations, and all of our proceeds go towards helping local communities. And also, if you are a bourbon enthusiast, there are several raffles, Powerballs, also bingos, in which you can also possibly win some exclusive bourbon. So it's doing good with a passion that I have.
Umbrella asked, did you have a cheap alcohol you drank in college you remember to this day? Oh, yes. So like we said, we actually didn't drink too much when we were in our 20s, but there was one thing we did whenever we went to parties. Remember, it was called Sky Blue?
Yes.
I will put an image
Sky
here.
Blue.
I don't think they make it anymore.
No, it was kind of like the Smirnoff Ice, but for vodka, it was Sky Vodka was the brand. So I remember that.
Yeah.
Also... So there's another question here as well. Actually, it's right here. So it's going to go into this. So is there any cheap alcohol that we drank? And the next question is from Steve Pollard saying, are there any gay bars in Arizona? So yes, there are. And my first introduction to drinking cocktails was a martini bar from a place called Amsterdam.
Yeah.
So for cheap liquor, it was all about pucker. So pucker was in everything. Appletinis left and right. Those were the drinks. So wow, I feel like we're dating ourselves. This is like Sex and the City time.
Right.
That's the time we grew up. So there we go.
Haley Falls asks, what's your favorite TV show to binge aside from Schitt's Creek? So one thing we always find ourselves doing is we watch just Friends all night long when we're in Disney, because we have to go back to the hotel room early so that Kate can go to bed. But then, Steve will run down to the lobby bar, bring us up some cocktails, martinis, what have you, and we'll just watch Friends all night long.
Yeah, lately, though, we've been rewatching, like, Sex and the City.
Yeah.
The Office is always a good one to binge watch. So those are all great ones.
I really like Parks and Rec. That one's funny, too. So, yeah.
There's some good ones in there.
Chris M. asks, what's our favorite Disney characters? So for me, it's going to be Mickey Mouse. I love just a classic, good old character, and that is Mickey Mouse. For a newer one, though, I do really like Stitch as well.
What? That was going to be mine. Wow. Thief in the night.
Okay, Grace, you mentioned that sometimes you cook filet with a red wine reduction shallot butter. Do you have the recipe? It sounds delicious. So I don't have the recipe. I actually just I wing it. So I make it up every time I go. But it stems from the steak they used to serve at Hollywood Brown Derby. They served that for quite a few years, and I would always make sure we had a dining reservation for dinner at Brown Derby because I wanted to get it. It was so good. And then one year we went and it was gone. They've now since replaced what that filet is. They still have a filet on the menu, but the flavors are totally different. It's not as good in my opinion, but you have given me a very good idea for a future video, and where I will try to recreate the old red wine reduction shallot butter from Brown Derby. All right, Steve's refilling. What is this, the fancy free again?
Fancy free. Yeah,
fancy free.
I'm staying consistent.
Yeah.
Are you ready for your next drink?
Yes, but I need to get my stuff.
Oh boy. There we go.
It's my drink aid.
It's your drink aid.
This video is sponsored by Drink Aid.
It's not.
No, it's not sponsored. But that wouldn't surprise me if we finally do get a sponsor. It would be for Drink Aid.
Yeah.
So our friends actually got us onto these, but it's basically like a vitamin boost.
Yes.
And it works wonders if you're gonna mix your liquors, because you never want to mix brown and clear liquors.
Or beer and wine and that stuff. So thank you, Melissa and Dan, for recommending this.
Openness.
Oh, it's starting off poorly.
It tastes awful, but it's just a quick little shot. But yeah, that way I can, because Steve made me that fancy free, which is bourbon. But now I want my Hendrick's Martini, so take one of these and you're in good shape. And just so you know that we're not complete lushes, we did not finish the bottle of champagne. So we put this little stopper on here. I love this little thing. This is we got this for $5 at Crate and Barrel, and it will literally save your champagne for at least a day, right?
Yeah.
I feel like 2 days, maybe that's pushing it, but...
Not a complete lush, but here I am making Mike's Hendrick's Martini. So his recipe is very simple. Ready?
There it is. We planned for this.
We did.
So Alan asks, what's your favorite park in Walt Disney World?
Hollywood Studios.
I would say the same thing too.
I like it, especially with Galaxy's Edge. It's amazing.
Okay, so that's my little point that I like to pontificate on. I liked Hollywood Studios before it had Galaxy's Edge.
See,
I feel like Hollywood Studios never got love before that.
Unpopular opinion, there's not enough to do at Hollywood Studios for a full day.
I disagree.
I think you're wrong.
Okay.
But now that Galaxy's Edge is there, then you have a full day. All right, let's think how many fast passes are actually available at Hollywood Studios compared to any other park. Much less.
I don't know.
Much less.
Okay.
Yes. So by definition, there's less to do. So, yes. Hollywood Studios, now that Galaxy's Edge is there.
Okay, Hollywood Studios.
There we go.
Okay, these next questions come from Brian. And Brian, man, you have some really good ones here. So, first, what would be your dream fifth gate?
So I read Brian's question, so one leads into the other. So
okay.
For me, dream fifth gate would be a Marvel-specific park.
If you found yourself having dinner with a high-level Disney executive, what is a suggestion you would make for park improvement?
I would suggest, and this comes after me just saying I like Galaxy's Edge. I would suggest we don't theme lands after specific movies.
Yeah.
I feel like they can be dated very quickly. For example, Cars Land, while it's awesome, while it's amazing, is Cars still as relevant with young kids nowadays? I don't know. So it'll eventually go out. That's why I like Fantasyland, Tomorrowland. It's very loosely generalized, and you can update it much easier.
What is one IP that you wish was represented more at the parks, and what ride should it get?
All right, so that goes back to my Marvel position. So I'm not a big fan of how at Disney's California Adventure they're creating an area for Marvel inside that park. I think there's plenty of IP that it can get its own individual land, own fifth gate, and the rides could be phenomenal. Like we saw what they did with the Tony Stark thing. The ride that they're creating with Spider-Man is going to be awesome. I think they have enough for a whole park, and they should really just kind of keep it as its own park and keep the themes as their individual.
Right. Well, that's with California Adventure. I mean, they're landlocked there.
They are, yes. Having said that, again, ideal. We're living in fantasy land here, right?
Yeah, for sure. So, Jacqueline, you said, my family and I are huge Disney people just like you. We live in Miami and go about every other month. Would you ever consider moving to the Magic Orlando? So, funny, we were actually actively looking for a vacation home in Orlando before COVID hit. In fact, this would have been October 2019.
Yeah.
We actually tried it out. We actually got an Airbnb out in Orlando for 2 weeks. We were there for just a little over 2 weeks, just to see if we liked it.
Yeah, what the local life is
We were
like.
looking at different areas. Yeah. So we were gonna do it, but then things shut down.
Yeah,
so
it stalled out. So.
Yeah.
There probably will be an eventuality where we have a place there.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, Julia, you asked any advice on taking a very active 2-year-old to Disney. So it's basically just like Caleb. Go find those areas where kids can run around. I say that though, but now that I hear myself saying it, it's like COVID has changed everything.
Yeah.
When he was 2 and he was very active, we would take him to the Storybook Circus.
Splash pad area.
Yeah, there was splash pads everywhere, even in Epcot. And so I really don't know what to tell you now because everything is so different.
Yeah, the problem with most of the good places for kids is it's high touch environments.
Right.
So
yeah.
even the big Bruce that's outside the aquarium at
In Epcot,
Finding Nemo in
yeah.
Epcot. Yeah, so
there was a playground area that they had. I think it was kind of a makeshift, it was a pop-up playground they had that was Wreck-It Ralph. Caleb loved that. I highly doubt that's there anymore.
all right, well, let's recover this. We're gonna recover this.
Okay.
How about the grassy areas inside Magic Kingdom?
Yes,
That's perfect.
A place for them to run around,
Yes.
just do their own thing. Yeah.
Frankly, we used to just go grab some Starbucks treats with him, just kind of sit there, let him exert some energy.
Yeah.
And then let's be honest, at 2 years old, they're looking at sights, they're looking at colors. That's their
Yeah.
enjoyment in rides. So they typically like what their parents are doing. So feel free to still enjoy your time at the parks.
Yeah.
But give them those little moments for them to just run around and be wild, crazy animals.
Yeah, for sure. All right, what's your least favorite Disney hotel?
It's our first ever visit to Walt
Yes.
Disney World. So I forget what it was. I think it was post work. So I went out there for a work conference, and then Mike and our friend joined me out there. So we did this last minute, let's throw together a Disney World trip. Might as well.
We'd never been there before. We did not know anything.
Ever. So it was first time ever, and I'm like, this place is really cheap. Let's just do this. It was All Stars Movies.
Yeah.
And it was bad.
It was bad.
It was bad. I think it was in 2010, maybe. So I'm
sounds right,
I'm
yeah.
not sure if they've updated it since then, and I apologize if they have.
Right. And it was weird because we were with our friend, and it was our friend Joey.
Yeah. So you need your privacy.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. Yes.
Yeah. So even the bathroom doors, there wasn't a door. It was a curtain.
Yeah.
It was a shower curtain instead of an actual bathroom door. So your vanity was exposed. So I don't mean to trash it, but
Right.
If I'm answering the question honestly, it has to be that place.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry.
Mitchell asks, if you could change one of the Disney parks, what would the change be and why?
Disney's California Adventure, I think, could get some work in the Hollywood area. I think you
Yeah,
could
for
integrate a lot of what is in Hollywood Studios
Yes.
and put that in that area. So repurpose Great Movie Ride. That'd be perfect back there. That'd be amazing. Or maybe add Brown Derby back there. Or there was another thing.
I feel like there's plenty of space and possibility to do a sci-fi dine-in back there.
Oh, absolutely. So
That would be
I think
amazing.
take elements from other parks and put it in California Adventure, and I think you have a fuller Hollywood experience with it.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
that's probably it. I think everything else is pretty good.
For me, I would say, and this is a weird one because Epcot's already going through so much changes, and I like the changes that they're doing in the fact that we're going to get a lot of really cool rides and stuff, but Steve and we did not ever get to experience the whole Epcot the way it was originally envisioned back in the early 80s. So I feel like a lot of that nostalgia that a lot of you guys have, it's lost on us. I would like to see what it would have been like going there as a kid back
Right.
then. I think that would have been really cool to see.
Unpopular opinion, we're not huge fans of Epcot.
Oh, see, I am now.
Oh, you are
I used to
now.
hate Epcot. I used to hate it. I hated it. I was like, there's nothing to do here. It's boring. But now that it's because granted, we go there now mostly to eat and drink.
Well, that's my point. Is the park is built for eating and drinking.
Yeah.
So eating, drinking, shopping. Mm-hmm. So typically that's like a trifecta for us, 100%.
And it's also really good for like the kids. I would take Caleb to the aquarium. I would take him to the Nemo ride, the splash pads and stuff. So.
But to me, the rides were always kind of lacking compared to the rest of the other theme parks.
I agree with that. Yeah, for sure.
So with them getting the Guardians ride, that's going to be amazing.
I'm very excited about that. Yeah.
Caleb loves the Frozen ride, which, let's be honest, again, unpopular opinion, Maelstrom was not a home run.
People love Maelstrom. We wrote it and we were like, what is this all about? Actually, no. What's the other one where you go and look at vegetables and stuff?
No, well, that's the living with land,
it's
right?
Like, oh, we're looking at seeds.
And then Ellen's Energy Adventure.
Yeah, that was weird.
It was dated.
It was lost on us. We didn't experience it as children, so.
This has gone off on a tangent. This is what we're talking about now.
Will you guys ever go and visit Alaska, and what are your favorite colors? So my favorite color is blue, and it's kind of funny that you would ask. My family is notorious for constantly talking about things we want to go do, but then we never go do it. My family has been talking for years about doing a Disney cruise to Alaska, so it's definitely on our radar. We just haven't been able to execute. Recharging with Disney asks, what's your favorite restaurant in each park?
Okay, so Magic Kingdom, be our guest.
Yes, I always forget about that for some reason.
Hollywood Studios, big surprise, Brown Derby. Epcot, this one's hard. It's a 3-way tie between Monsieur Paul, Le Cellier, and Takumi Tai. Because I thought those were all phenomenal, and they're all pretty good.
They are.
Animal Kingdom, Tiffin's. And am I missing any?
Do you want to include California Adventure?
I get to do West Coast? Yes. All right. So for DCA, Carthay. Yeah. 100% Carthay. Oh, Disneyland. That one's rough because there's not one that really stands out to me.
There's one that stands out to me, but not so much because it's like it's very hit or miss, but it's just nostalgia iconic.
Okay, I think I know which one you're talking about, so I'm not going to go with that one. I'll go with Cafe Orleans.
Okay.
And I think I know which one you're going to go with, so we'll flip the camera.
So we'll start with Disneyland for that. But I would say Blue Bayou. I love Blue Bayou.
Oh, really? I thought you were going to say Carnation Cafe.
Carnation Cafe is fun. That's good. But I feel like most people want to go to Blue Bayou. It's the restaurant that's in Pirates of the Caribbean. You can get the Monte Cristo sandwich. And I think if you're going to go with the Monte Cristo sandwich, like, go with that because it's the steak that's like hit or miss.
It is. It's a sirloin, I think, right? Like it's nothing special.
So it's a little tough. It's a little chewy, but we always have a really fun time going there because it is an experience. It's just the food is like not the best.
Yeah.
But Carthay Circle for sure at California Adventure. In Magic Kingdom, I would have to say Be Our Guest for sure. For Epcot, I think my favorite dining experience I've ever had was at Monsieur Paul. For the Hollywood Studios, I would definitely say Hollywood Brown Derby. And then for Animal Kingdom, I'm going to go with Yak and Yeti.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Favorite restaurant in the resorts?
So I know we've listed a ton already tonight, and I'm not going to exhaust the other ones, but I think Jico, the cooking place, is phenomenal.
It's good, yeah.
It's really, really good. The food offering is amazing, and it has like this global menu as well, so it's just, the flavors are phenomenal. So they also have like an award-winning like wine bar as well, or wine collection. So yeah, Jico.
California Grill brunch. That was amazing. It's bottomless mimosas.
It's so good.
It's a buffet, and then also not only is it a buffet, but then you also have a menu that you can order items from.
You get your warm entrees.
Yeah, you get the warm entrees fresh from the kitchen, and they don't advertise this, but you can technically order more than one if there's more than one that catches your eye. So
we haven't been able to successfully do that yet because we're so full, but it's a nice option.
Oh, it was amazing.
Ophelia 247 asks, I think that's 24/7. Did a total stranger ever leave a lasting impression or memory on you? So first off, Mike is horrific with people that are strangers. He doesn't know how to interact with them at all whatsoever. He just really kind of clams up and shows up. Yeah, I don't know you. But Yes, the first time ever we were recognized, that left the lasting impression. I remember exactly where we were. We were at the boardwalk, and we were with Caleb in the stroller waiting for an elevator. It opened up. Someone came out. Oh my God, it's the Magic Dad. So like, that was the moment. It was like, oh my gosh, like this is a thing. It's a thing. So we love you all. We love that person. That definitely left a lasting impression for me. Eric asks, what's your favorite LGBT friendly resort and restaurants at Walt Disney World? So I have to admit, like, we have never had a negative experience with us. So I can't say that we've experienced one that was friendly or non-friendly. So I would say almost every single Disney resort we've ever stayed at and restaurant has been accepting.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you agree, Mike? Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. So go to Disney knowing that there's great people there. Cast members are phenomenal. So don't worry to be you there, for sure. Checking for 0. It's God, on 0.
Thank God. He keeps hitting the wrong button, and
it's by my trigger finger.
It's causing problems.
It's by my trigger finger. Cool.
What is something you wish everyone knew about used? This is the most basic one. Getting your dining reservations, like get those in. We have sent so many people to Disney World and Disneyland, been like, that's great. You got your tickets, you got your plans, go make some dining reservations. Treat yourself to a nice dinner or a nice lunch. And they're like, yeah, we will. And then we find out, they're like, oh, we forgot and we couldn't get in.
Yeah, in our experience, when people have had negative experience with Disney, they always talk about the food. You got to properly plan and prepare.
Yeah.
If you do that, that's fine. Otherwise, yes, you will eat pretzels. Yes, you will eat hot dogs. Yes, turkey legs, all that stuff.
Sure.
Those aren't bad items, but you're not going to have a nice, relaxing sit-down break away from the chaos.
People don't understand. It's like, you can eat scallops at, if you go to if you go to Napa Rose, the Grand Californian, you can have a scallop dinner. You can have, truffled risotto at, Le Cellier.
A wine pairing dinner at Steakhouse 55. It's available for everybody. Yes.
Those options are available. You got to plan.
Yes. So in addition to this, know your timeline. So the second you have a hotel or resort reservation, you have dates in advance you get to book these things. So leverage that as well. The last thing I'll say, one thing we wish people would use more is My Disney Experience. That app can help your entire vacation.
When it's working.
And you can do fast passes and all the other stuff that goes along with it. Right. So, yes.
What is something you saved from your childhood? So,
absolutely everything. We have a storage unit filled with it.
How many times have we mentioned we don't have a guest room? We have a storage facility. I keep everything. You guys. It's so bad.
It is great for Caleb because he has a lot of the same things that you grew up with. But
Caleb plays with all the toys that I played with when I was little. So
I have nothing. I have nothing. My past, my history is a mystery. Disney Drink Blog asks, when is your next Disney World trip? Ideally, the second we get vaccinated, we're on a plane. We're hopping on a plane as a family, and we are there.
We were just talking about this in the car. Like, I turned to Steve. I'm like, okay, say we get the vaccine today. When are we going to be in Disney World?
24 hours. 24 hours. 100% we are there. 100%. Yes. Duster1 asks, what sparked each of your personal love of Disney? It started very young for me. So my family has been going to Disneyland because it's much easier to drive every single year since I was a wee little boy. So it's indoctrinated. That's pretty much it. Back in the day, again, aging ourselves, we used to have Sunday night, Disney night that we used to be aired on the TV.
It was like the Disney family movie or something, right?
Yeah. And it would be, that's the first time I ever saw something with Epcot as well. Like they had like the little shine over with Epcot. And like, what's that cool ball that Mickey's standing on top of? So listen, we grew up with Disney because we were a Disney family. It's always been there. And the fact that both of us actually were able to marry our own personal experience with it is phenomenal. And now Caleb. So, yeah.
Okay, so Jenna asks, do you think the Skyliner would expand to other resorts or parks? Absolutely. I think the more transportation Disney has, the better. But we have actually never been on the Skyliner. No. We've never done it. So
why is that, Mike?
I don't know.
I think it's because it doesn't have air conditioning. It has airflow. And Orlando's hot. So.
No, I think it's because when we go, we usually just get a rental car and then we just tool around to each park. But yeah, I think the more transportation Disney has, the better.
Yes.
What is your favorite thing about Disney World and Disneyland? What does one offer that the other doesn't?
Again, it might be an unpopular opinion, but I think it's rooted in fact. Disneyland just has the nostalgia.
It does, yeah,
it does.
For sure.
So you have the history. Walt walked in the park. He lived in the park with the apartment over the firehouse. So that will always be something that just has something special about it. Disney World, though, has the luxury of space. So with that, you have a more expanded universe of Disney that will just be available to you no matter what. What I always tell everybody when they compare the two different parks, just think of Disneyland and Disney's California Adventure as the greatest hits.
Yes.
Where Disney World is the full album. So you can be able to explore many different things, but the greatest hits will always be on the West Coast.
Yeah.
So that's my go-to recommendation for most people.
Least favorite thing about Disney?
Nothing about Disney, but maybe the guests that attend Disney. So
I knew you were gonna say this.
I know. So there's certain like decorum that people should follow when you're in a public situation. Like if you're in a high flow, crowded area, don't stop. Maybe just keep on walking. Like don't stop and check your phone. Don't like look up in the sky. This is the time to walk. So you should definitely go with the flow. I also feel like there's a lot of cell phone zombies at the park that they're not like paying attention where they should be going. What else can I say? When you have a stroller, most people are unaware that you have a stroller, and you got to be careful with that. Like, I don't want to use the stroller as a battering ram, but sometimes you just got to get around you. So I don't mean to rag on guests, but sometimes you just got to be aware of your surroundings when you're in a public area, especially now that we're all supposed to be 6 feet away from each other in distance. It's more important than ever that you are aware of how you're impacting and influencing other people. So that's one of the negatives I will express about going to a Disney park. So I'll have to admit, I'm a little bit overwhelmed that we didn't get questions, but we have so many statements about you guys saying we're awesome, and thank you. I mean, honestly, like, we have a lot of fun with this, and I think, you know, we tried to make sure that we're trying to have fun for you as well. So tonight was awesome. I think we had a great time, and there was a lot of questions we got through.
Yeah. All right, so that's going to do it for us tonight. We had a lot of fun with this.
We had a great time.
Yeah.
A lot of good questions. So thank you, everyone, for submitting your questions to us. We tried our best to answer everybody's questions. Some of them are pretty similar, so if we didn't answer your specific question, we hope it was covered.
Yeah.
Definitely. So anyhow, again, so many good questions. Maybe we'll do this again in the future.
I think so. Yeah, for sure.
I think so. And, you know, frankly, again, the night has been enjoyous.
Well, it's your weekend. It is. We're having fun. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I can't wait for this to happen again in the future, honestly. So this is a lot of good fun.
We hope you had a good time. We hope you like this video. If you did, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. And from our magic family to yours, enjoy.